This video will show how to add an anchor connection into concrete from the stair macro. Now the structure of a stair, what I want to do is I want to go to the properties of this stair macro, and I want to go to the bottom step and make sure same as others is on check. I'll jump down to the landings and I want to uncheck the create front and rear landing. So what that does, it just separates the first tread from the rest. I want to also uncheck create first tread from the landings proof. As you can see, the step bottom is tread 19. Now I'll go to the connection vault, and from the miscellaneous category we have a lot of tools that are allocated to the stair macro, but we want to use the stair anchor angle. So you want to make sure your UCS is at world. That'll be the top of the concrete, and you want to use a reference point. So once I've chose my reference point, from there there's other little modifications that I can do. So you can see that the angle is right on top of steel or top of concrete. That's where my XY plane will be. So the modifications to the angle, I can change the position from left or to right. I can put in a cutback, and you can see that the angle shifts. Okay, I'll put in 0.75, put it back to 0, and then you can see the angle is shifted from the vantage point of the first plate. So in reference to this point, where is the angle going to sit? Well, you can put in some values and you can place your angle accordingly. So I'm just putting in some different values there, and you can see the difference. Now you have the projection from the height and also from the width that you can change up. You have the anchoring holes. If you want to add additional anchors, this is the place to do it. So you can reference it from the center of the stringer, from the nosing point, and again the edge distance will affect the width of the angle. Just keep that in mind. So we see that this angle is welded to the stringer. So if I go on to the next tab, of course there's no access because it's not bolted to the stringer. So here you can adjust your weld type. So once that's done, we can save it to the library. So you can call it out whatever makes sense to you, and I'll just put in angle right, and I'll put in today's date. This is the date of today. I'll borrow that because I'll use that later. So once you've customized everything is done, you're going to use the create by template multiple, or create by template, create by template, and you're going to select the left side of the stringer, and here you have again a reference point, and it's going to carry the same exact values that you keyed in for the right side. However, there's some minor adjustments you're going to have to do, so you're going to save the settings to the library, but this time I'll call that the left side, and then I'll go in and I'll change the angle direction. So from the angle tab, I'll change that to the angle right, so it's on the outside. You can put angles on both sides, you can put them in, but first of all we have to look after the first tread. It's creating somewhat of a clash. So I want to go down to the step bottom, and the tread type we defined as 19. So the tread dimensions 1, what we want to do is we want to make some modifications there. So the thickness is good, and then I'll just adjust the tread width. You can put in negative values, and now the height of that leg. So it was at 9 inches, so I put it at about 6.5, and that works well. So you can see that it's basically butted with that XY plane. The bending radius is 1/8 of an inch. That's why we have the curve. If you wanted it at 0, that's all good and well. You can do that. We want to change out the back leg from 80 to 90, so that makes it straight. So I'll go to turn off my miscellaneous, change to conceptual, and this is what we have here. I'll put it at 2D wireframe, and I'll go to my top view. So from my objects tab, I'm going to just create a concrete slab, and I'm not going to change any of the properties, you know, just quick, just to give you a little idea. And I'll change my visual style to conceptual. I'll go to my right, and you can see that everything is on top of concrete. You get a better visual in 2D wireframe, and that's one of the many ways you can add anchors to concrete in Advanced Steel.